now that Mahmoud Ahmadinejad has presumably been re-elected Iranian president, what does it mean for Iran relations? Are normal relations now possible? Republican Congressman Dan Lungren is on the House Homeland Security Committee, and he joins us to talk about that. Well, do you buy these numbers?
There appears to be pretty good evidence that this is a cooked election. And the most depressing thing, I guess, for me is we were going to see whether, in fact, the true leaders of this country, the religious leaders who call the final shots, were going to allow for a real election to have an expression of the people. It appears now, from what we see coming in, that that was not the case. That gives an indication that they did not have a real intention on really having a change.
There are some clashes in the streets. What should we watch for there?
Well, I think one of the things we know is that there is a good deal of unrest with the population. One of the delicate things that we've been trying to do is how do you encourage that those elements who want to have a true expression for democracy and want to have better relations with the West, while at the same time not kowtowing to the leadership we have now with respect to what they're doing in terms of going forward with their nuclear plans.
Their plan is to basically do the same thing that we're seeing now in North Korea. We really do, I hate to bring it back, but it may have been that George Bush was right about North Korea and Iran being an axis of evil.
There's no doubt about it.
We've still got this problem to deal with.
There's no doubt about it. And I think one of the things this tells us as Americans is that it's a dangerous world out there. There are people who want to do harm to the United States. While we want to sit down and negotiate, sometimes talk is not what changes things. And our greatest ally in this part of the world, Israel, is in danger. And I think we ought to look and listen to what they have to say instead of lecturing them, as it appears that we have been doing in recent weeks.
North Korea, they've captured a couple of journalists.
One from my district.
They're planning more nuclear tests. They are thumbing their nose at the world. What do we need to tell the Chinese to say to North Korea to bring them back in line?
Well, finally, we see that the Chinese are concerned about what the North Koreans are doing. And I think they understand that the instability created in that part of the world is not good for China. They don't want a rival there with of interest there with nuclear power, nuclear weapons. And I think we need to engage China, to engage North Korea, to understand it is unacceptable for China as well as the United States and the rest of the powers in that part of the world.
As you look at Iran, as you look at North Korea, what is your greatest concern right now?
My greatest concern is somehow leakage of nuclear material, nuclear weapons that actually get to either one of these rogue nations for use or one of these terrorist organizations. We have to understand how serious that is. That threat continues around the world, and we have to do everything in our power to ensure that somehow that's brought under control.
Congressman Dan Lungren, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Turning now to Syria, where President Obama's special envoy to the Middle East has just finished meeting with President Bashar Assad. American officials tell Fox